Hello, and welcome to the History and Philosophy of Science in 6 Easy Steps. I'm Dr. Green, and I'll be your instructor, and I'm really excited about this course for a couple of reasons. One is, first, I'm excited about what the future holds for us as humans, and I think that a look at the past can tell us a lot about that. And secondly, the history of science tells us a lot about who we are as humans, and a better understanding of that can help us all to live more effectively. Now, what this course is. First, if you haven't already done so, I'd encourage you to take a look at the trailers because they're not just trailers, they weren't just advertisements, they're actually little summaries of kind of intuitive summaries of what we're going to be covering in this course. So take a look at those. And I guess basically we could sum this course up in 3 questions. What is science? How does it work? What has it done and what can it do for us? Maybe that's 4 questions. And by the end, I hope that you will not only have a good understanding of science and the role it has played in the world, but that you'll also know how to apply this knowledge to make your life better, and maybe have a better idea of whether you want to pursue a life of science, a career in science, and if so, what field you might want to pursue. Now, why did I add the words "in 6 easy steps" to the title? Well, first of all, I want to make sure you knew that I'm not going to try to make this a really difficult course. I want to make it interesting. I want it to be interesting and thought-provoking. We want this to max out at about 1 hour per day of work on your part. And also, it turns out that this is a 6-week course. So what we've done is we've divided the course into 6 topics, 1 topic each week, or 1 kind of unit each week that covers a different aspect of the history or philosophy of science. And those 6 units basically ask 6 specific questions. The first is, what have been the key developments in science and technology, and what is their relationship with time? Secondly, in the second week, we'll be asking, how does science progress? In the third week, we'll be asking, what is science and how does it work? And fourth, how does society affect the growth of science? Why did science grow so rapidly in Europe, for example? And fifth, how does science affect society? So this is the flip side of that last question. How does it affect the way that people think and live? And then finally, what does the future hold? And what is the singularity? So that's an overview of the course. Now the first week, the first assignments are already up there, and you can take a look at that. Let's just scroll down there. By the way, before I get there, I just want to point out a couple of readings that I've put up here. We will be selecting readings from these 2 sources here, possibly among others during the course. The Structure of Scientific Revolutions is a classic by a philosopher named Thomas Kuhn, and this is the book right here. It's really pretty short. We're going to be just picking a chapter or 2 out of this that you're going to be required to read, but I would encourage you to read this whole thing if you've got the time. It will be well worth your time. It will be worth the price of the whole course if you read this book. We've got the PDF right here. You can get a used copy pretty cheap on half.com or on Amazon. And then I've got an article here by Karl Popper, which we'll be covering in week 3. Thomas Kuhn will be week 2. Now, if you look at week 1 here, you'll see some links here. This is just a URL link to a science timeline online. And then we've got assignments here, which are a little hand holding a paper. That means it's an assignment link. And then you'll see the forum link here, which is the Key Discoveries Forum. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about week 1. For your first assignment, you will be asked to make a graph. It's going to be a graph of the number of scientific discoveries versus time. How are you going to do that? Well, we have a nice website, this one here, and there's some others. Wikipedia has some nice timeline pages as well. And all you have to do is just say, okay, between 5000 and 4000 BC, for example, how many scientific discoveries were there? Or between 200 and 300 AD. And you just count those up and then plot them as a scatter plot. And I can help you with that as you get started. In fact, I've put a couple videos here. One is how to make a graph in Google Documents with Google Sheets, and the other is how to make a graph in Excel. Okay, so take a look at those. And when you get done with that assignment, all you do is you click Add Submission here on the assignment page. All right, and then you can scroll down and you'll see that there's a place for you to put in online text if that were appropriate. In this case, you're going to want to do a file submission. So you just click Add, and then find the file on your computer and upload it. All right, and then click Save Changes. So that's pretty simple. Now for the second part of, before I move to that, sorry, submissions grading. Click on this. Make sure you do this because this is the rubric for this assignment, and this will be true about every assignment. There will be a rubric under the submissions grading link, and you'll want to look at this because this is how I'm going to grade this thing. So that's what your grading is based on. For part 2, the key discoveries. In this part, you're just going to pick the 3 discoveries or the 3 people or the 3 events in the history of science that you think are the most important. Okay? And you're going to explain why you think they're the most important. Write it up in a short essay, maybe a 5-paragraph essay, because that would allow you to have an introduction and a conclusion, as well as a 1-paragraph summary of each event and why you think it's most important. And then you're going to put it here in the Key Discoveries forum. I just clicked on that forum link and it brought me here where I've already added a topic, which is top 3 discoveries. Click on this. All right, and then just come over here and post your answer as a reply. Just paste it right in this box. And the reason I want to do it like a forum rather than just a file submission is that I want everybody to see their classmates' answers on this. So you can see kind of, hey, did I think the same things were most important? Because that's a really interesting question, is what does make something an important scientific discovery? It really kind of gets to the heart of some of the questions we're asking. Okay? Now, as you're doing this assignment, I want you to think about several questions as you're doing both of these parts of the first assignment. First, how is a scientific discovery different from an invention? Second, how did the creators of the websites, the timeline websites, decide what events to include on their timelines? And does that matter? Third, is the history of science a continuum, or is it a discontinuous series of events or discoveries? And fourth, do individuals make discoveries, or is it really a group effort, or is it something else? Fourth, what other world events were occurring at the same time as these discoveries, particularly the 3 that you're looking at in more detail? What world events were happening at those times? What do these discoveries have in common? And what is science anyway? And then lastly, when did science begin? Now that's an interesting question for you. Okay, a couple other things before we get off here. Take a look at your profile settings. Make sure that the email that you have in here is one that you check often. And I've got a little video on the front page about this, about staying in the loop in this class. You should take a look at that because you can even use your Facebook email, and if you don't know how to find that, the video will show you how. You want to have an email that you check in here, and then go to your messaging page here and make sure that you've clicked so that you get notifications when assignments are set up, and so that you get notifications down here under the forums right here, subscribe forum posts. Make sure you've checked the email notifications on that. And then also down here, make sure you check this box, prevent non-contacts from messaging me. Okay, that's just a safety issue. Make sure you check that box as well. Okay, and then click update profile, and then you should be all set with that. And make sure you know that you can always look up here for news. This is whenever I post announcements, they'll show up here under latest news. And the other thing you can always look at up here is upcoming events. This is where due dates will show up. Anything that's coming due will show up here. And if you ever need to get in touch with me, wgreen@eosmith.org or greenwilliamp, all one word, @gmail.com. Or you can message me through the Moodle system here. That's fine as well. Okay, I'm really looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a great time. Again, contact me with any questions you might have, and good luck.